Hey guys, welcome back to the Life and Lessons of Me. I'm your host, Jordan, and today I want to talk about something that a lot of my friends seem to be going through, and it's something that I've already kind of dealt with and gone through. So the last time I tried to make this episode, as luck would have it, my computer went and I had to restart it, and then the whole episode just deleted, and yeah. But honestly, I felt like I was a little rambly in that episode, so maybe it was for the best. Anyway, now I'm having weird pink thing on my camera. Like, just need to get like better equipment, and then we'll be good. Um. Anyway, back to the point. The point of this episode is to talk about purpose, which is something I've talked about before on the show. Um, and it's something that I find very important. To you know, be able to enjoy life and not think you don't fit anywhere and just stuff like that. And people have been telling me to figure myself out for a good amount of time, like focus on yourself, and I've done that. And in doing that, I've been able to really, define what I believe my purpose is. And purpose can be literally anything. Like for me, my purpose is to help people, to share, what I've learned through my life experience and try to help some other people through it. Um, so a lot of times, I feel like people are afraid to, really face themselves because a lot of people have, you know, issues that they've never dealt with, and, they just continually bottle everything up, and it literally it literally affects your mindset. Like if you keep everything in your own head and never ever, analyze it and you know um, find a way to move forward from past experiences and things like that. The only way to really, process them and, get through it is to really, really face yourself, face your own demons, right? And people are afraid to do that. And I can't blame them for that. Absolutely not. Like, people, just keep things to themselves because they don't want to bother anybody or feel like they're vulnerable or look weak, let's say. But I feel like it takes more strength to face your demons. It's it's easy to run from them and to hide from them, but they don't go away, right? They never do if you don't process it and work through them, right? And work through what that made you feel and like how you can possibly get over those things. And I'm telling you, it's possible. I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely not. Um, but like, imagine it like this. Let's go with the Star Wars analogy here because I'm a Star Wars nerd. But when Luke had to face his father, aka Vader, and if you didn't know that, you might not live on Earth and you're probably an alien. But anyway, most people know that. So Luke didn't want to face his father, but he had to. He had to in order to save his father and you know move forward from all the things that Vader did. But Luke was able to get through to Vader by facing him and believing that there's still good in him. So if you use that analogy, let's say you are thinking about things that have happened to you before and you're getting sad and whatever. It's You got to face it. You got to turn around, face your own demons. And in this analogy, Vader would have been Luke's demon, but it wasn't himself. But anyway, you get the gist of the thing. It's like you're fighting a villain, right? But it's yourself. Doesn't really make sense, but you have to really look inwardly and think about all of this stuff. You can't just let it sit or it will eat you from the inside out. Literally. Like if you let your feelings and past trauma and everything just sit, it doesn't go away and eventually it just bubbles over because you can't hold it down anymore. It takes far more strength to turn around and face that. You have to go, well, you have to be able to forgive yourself and, maybe not others who did harm to you, but you have to be able to be like, there are some things that I cannot control, and what's the point of worrying about things that I can't control? And it's in the past. So why are you, going back in time to think about these things all the time because you've never processed them, you never gotten through them. And I'm not saying that you're never going to think about stuff that happened to you before, or again rather, but there's a different way than bottling it up. You got to talk to somebody. You got to do something about it. You got to turn around. You got to fight your own demons. And again, some stuff you really can't control, but, you know, think about the situation that you were in and how it went, and, you know, think about all that stuff. Like, who really do you want to be? You know, what do you want to show the world that you're capable of? And so back to the purpose thing, in order to really, embrace the fact that you are alive on earth, you need a purpose. Like, obviously. Um obviously purpose can be different for everybody. Like I said, my purpose is to help people based on my own experiences. Your purpose might be, um I don't know, being an engineer to design easier infrastructure, and, like, I don't know, something to benefit the world around you. Not necessarily the entire world, just kind of like your immediate world, like your friends, your family, all that stuff, yourself. But you need to find your own place in the world. You can't, or you shouldn't just adopt what other people are doing. You should do your own thing. And, sometimes it changes. Sometimes your own thing changes. Sometimes you go, I want to do this. And then one day something happens and you're like, well, now I want to do this. Like, you have to find a purpose to exist. That's the thing. Um, or like a reason for things that have happened to you, any of that stuff. So, with my purpose being to help people and share what I've learned, through this disease. Like, some people would get totally discouraged and all that. And I've been totally discouraged and, felt like I didn't have a place in the world and, all that stuff. But I then started to believe, hey, I was given this for a reason to do something. Like, based on that, you were born to do something, because it's very unlikely that we're even born. So if you're born and are alive and are, still living, you're here for some purpose, you know? And it helps if you have a belief in a higher something. Um, because then really, what is the point? Like, why did my genetics screw up and, have this happen to me? I don't know. But if you flip it, like, from I don't know or woe is me, like, to this is a gift for me to help other people. That's what I did. Now, granted, some people don't have, physical challenges, they have mental challenges, and I've had both. I've had to deal with a lot of anxiety and stuff because of my disease, having fallen many times, having been, you know, dropped once or twice. It's stressful, it can be a lot of unknowns and a lot of, overthinking because of what has happened to me before. And once I figured out that I had anxiety, which was leading to overthinking, which was leading to a lot of other stuff, like me being a complete asshole sometimes. You know, I was like, you know what, this has to stop. So I really saw what my behavior was doing to my relationships with my family and things like that. And it was awful. It was not what I wanted to be doing. It was, in my mom's words, it was not who I was. It's not who I was born as. And just a worldly everything. Just the last 2 years have been brutal, but the last year has been insanely amazing for me. And I think it has to do with, me figuring out, wow, English, figuring out, like, you know, things that I didn't like about myself and fixing them. Um, and like, there are things that you're allowed to not like about yourself. It's like it's just not great. March was a real kick in the nuts. Like it was like if I don't flip my attitude around, it's not going to get better. Nothing's going to get better. It's going to keep feeling worse. Like even when I was getting my license and it was like a happy, great time, I was not okay. I really wasn't. And then came home and I was like, well, it's only one way to go, and that is up and forward. You have to start at your lowest point and move up. There's the only way out of the low is to go up. You can't, people say you could get lower than your lowest low, but I don't think so because that's rock bottom. Like that's as far as it can go. You know, you're thinking, why am I here? What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. And that's about as low as you can get. That's really as low as you can get. Like, so really, it's an uphill battle because let's go with this analogy. Rock bottom. You're at the bottom of a big hole and you're looking up. You don't see anything. It's just black because you're so far down, right? And then you're like, all right, this is ridiculous. There's got to be something up there. And then you start climbing the wall. You might fall down a couple times, land at the bottom again. Um, but then you got to pick yourself back up and start climbing up that wall again. You got to start it. Walk up the hill, you know, and eventually you'll see the light at the top. You'll get enough height, you'll climb out of the hole enough to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? You're almost through. Just got to keep climbing. You gotta keep climbing. And yeah, it's okay to like take a break once or twice. You might get tired. It takes a lot of energy to really work on yourself and dissect what's going on and talk to somebody about your issues. Like it takes a lot of energy out of you, and eventually, yeah, you get tired and you want to take a rest. Some days are bad, but picture yourself on like a ledge taking a break. Like you've climbed up enough to see the light, but it's still like, oh, I'm so tired. I just climbed so high to get to see the light, right? Then eventually your energy will come back and then you keep climbing. And I honestly feel like I'm this close to the top. Like I can see everything. It's totally bright. If I look down, super black, don't want to go back down. I want to keep going up, right? So then eventually you get to the surface and you're like, hey, life's not so bad. I mean, it's really not. But, it's all about your attitude about it. If you're like, oh, life sucks and it's never going to get better, guess what? It's not going to get better because you're putting that energy out and you're getting that energy back. If you're like, life sucks, then yeah, it might. But if you're like, life throws you punches, but get back up, enjoy the life you got, like it's way better. And, for people my age who are in their 20s and stuff, we're still figuring it out. We have no idea what the heck we're doing yet, you know? Um, so people get discouraged way too early. You haven't figured out anything. You have to give yourself a chance to actually learn about the world and find your place in it. That's why people go to college and explore all this stuff, but I think that's a waste of money. But you can explore interests and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I think you should because we're graduating high school and you're 18. We literally know nothing. Okay. We've been in school for 12 years. We don't know the first thing about life. Okay. Then you go out to college, right? You think it's like life. It's really not like life, but I mean, it is. You learn stuff in college. I'm not trying to trash college. I'm in college, but um yeah. So you need to truly not be afraid to look at your inner demons and face them. Because guess what? You survived it once. So if you survived it once, you can survive it twice and three times and four times and as many times as it takes to get through that trauma and stuff like that. I'm not a therapist, but finding a good therapist is helpful because then you can talk through issues and they're like, yeah, I can understand that and understand that perfectly. Like me personally, the therapist that I see really truly understands what I go through because he had a son in a wheelchair, different disease, but still, same principles, same crap that he had to deal with, you know. Um, so he really understands what I was going through and like, how that could lead to anxiety and overthinking and all that stuff. So, you know, but I am on Lexapro to reduce my anxiety, but I don't think I'm reliant on that completely. Like I've done a lot of the work to be like, all right, well, I don't want to do this. And if I can't control it myself, then I need help. Right. So like I could always process my emotions, but not really. Like I would feel stuff, kind of hold it in, and then kablamo, everything would go crazy and I would be an asshole. And yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. So I mean, honestly, the true motivation was like the relationships that I had were I don't want to say trying to think of a word. They were strained, let's say. Like they were strained to almost the breaking point. And I was like, all right, I gotta stop. I gotta change. I have to be better. And once you make that decision, it all kind of works out. But you have to make that decision all the time. You gotta say, what the heck is wrong with me? I gotta be better than that. You know, but as long as you have like a healthy version of like better, like if you're overly critical of like how you look or whatever, like some stuff you literally cannot control, like I said before. So focusing on what you actually can control is very significant because I was like, all right, in my situation, I can really only control who I am as a person. That's about it. And I didn't really like who I was as a person. I didn't like where I was mentally or emotionally. Like I didn't like it. I was like, this is ridiculous. I got to stop, you know, doing that. So that was my motivation to be better as a person. Like, all this stuff starts to happen for me. Like, I can only be grateful. Like, why would I be, not happy or whatever? Like, I'm getting my car, I'm getting it. Like, I got my license, I have it. Like, honestly, like, I can feel that life is getting better. Like once you get out of like the deepest part of the hole, you can start to see how good it could be, like how great life actually is. And I think people just fill their life with distractions and never really, fix what's going on. And eventually, yeah, you'll probably be able to forget about it. But then by the time you're 40, you'll be like, what the heck did I do with my life? And you'll buy a sports car and cheat on your wife and, midlife crisis stuff. So I don't recommend doing that. I recommend figuring yourself out right this second instead of, saying, oh, I'm supposed to get a job that I hate to make money and like blah, blah, blah. Like, no, there's no handbook that says that. There's no life rule book. Okay. And some people go through life and they're just grouchy and negative all the time. And I feel bad for those people because they're stuck almost like they're stuck in that attitude and mindset. Like, for example, a Karen, like, mind your own business, okay? Like, you have so many issues that you just like have to hate on other people because they're enjoying life. Why is that okay? That is not okay, okay? And I'm not hating on people who are feeling down and like feeling like they have no purpose or anything like that because I was that person before. So I think people are able to face their problems because again, if you made it through, you can make it through again. So I recommend, sitting down by yourself and just think. Just think, and find somebody to talk to, anybody. It doesn't have to be a therapist. It could be somebody who has been through a lot and, can understand a lot, like me. Like literally throw any situation at me and I can somehow understand what is happening and somehow help. I don't know how I can do that other than all of my life experiences have culminated into that ability. Like I'm able to empathize with people in any situation. And that's a real gift, I think. So, you got to find what your gift is, right? You could be a great artist and bring joy to people or like could write music and again, bring joy to people. You could do any multitude of things and feel good about yourself, you know, and help some other people along the way. So just helping yourself can make all the difference. Just literally being nice to everybody can make a difference. Like, it's a real visible change. I felt like I've grown so much in the last March was 4. So wait, no, March is 3. Last 4 months or so, like exponentially, I've grown. In maturity. It's just shocking to me, honestly. Like once you decide to change, you can do it. You just gotta keep your head up, keep on keeping on, and sometimes it takes a long time. So you gotta be okay with where you are right this second, even if it's not great. You gotta be like, all right, I'm just here for right now. It's temporary, and I'll get out of it. And you gotta have faith that it's all gonna work out and it's all for something. Like that's how I processed my stuff. I was like, I've been through all this stuff for a purpose, and that purpose is to be able to understand everybody. And you know I pride myself in being able to do that. I like to help people, and that's not because I haven't been able to help myself. I know some people, you know like to help so they forget about their own problems, but I don't think that's the case with me. I really don't. I really have been able to say, like, hey, all this stuff that I've been through is for a reason. It will lead me to greater things, to a greater purpose. Dealing with, you know, stuff like that, stuff like I have, stuff like everybody has, like dealing with things that we have dealt with, it's got to be for a reason. That's the only way that I found that I was able to, get out of that hole was I'm here right now for a reason. It's to teach me something, whatever. And I think that's really the only way, or that's the best way that I found to get out of the hole. So that's going to do it for this episode. I hope I can be helpful a little bit. And yeah, just remember that you can do it, and I'm here. And yeah, you can reach out whenever. I think I'll be able to answer because I'm not really that famous. So that's going to do it for this episode, and I'll catch you on the next one.